Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Click, listen, enjoy.
Keep listening to our weekly episodes to find out more.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Book Chat. I'm your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It has been just gorgeous here and with no humidity, so I have to talk about it because we're in the South and you just cannot say summertime without having all the humidity that is associated with this time of the year. But today is just so pleasant. It's a perfect day for sitting outside. And so that's another reason why I'm not going to hold you longer than the 15 minutes today, because I want you to be able to enjoy what's left of your evening, because it is evening now. So we're just going to get on with the show, and I hope everybody's doing well. I thank you once again for tuning in to the show. And so with no further ado, here we go. So the title of today's show is Some of This, A Little of That. And the topic is the perfect balance of fact and fiction. We are all familiar with folklore, urban legends, and fantasy, if you will. Have you ever wondered where all these stories originated from? I do, and I never get tired of hearing them, but more than likely from someone who loves spinning tales and used just a touch of magical dust or baking soda to help it grow into an amazing story. As a child, I would sit at my mother's feet and listen for hours upon hours of her weaving tales with the perfect blend of fact and fiction. She used inflections to build the suspense, take you on highs and lows that prepared you for the powerful ending. It didn't matter to me that they were just stories she made up to amuse us kids. And as I grew older and broke down the elements of each tale, it was then I realized how talented my mother really was at diversion. Basically, that's what she was trying to do, to help us to focus, on one thing and take our minds off something else. And I appreciate her so much for that. But, you must admit, fantastical tales are great for the imagination. It helps us to form opinions, use visualization to see a story come to life, and appreciate the quality of a great storyteller, and most importantly, separate fact from fiction. Okay, I know most tales are simply embellishments of truths, but who cares, especially when they are just so darn entertaining. However, the amount of energy and skill used to concoct fantasy on this level is not simply genius, but speaks of an undeniable talent. I am a huge fan of fantasy and sci-fi, and you know that I talk about it all the time. I can't get enough of the stuff. I'll just be honest with you. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm a romance writer, but I got to throw some fantasy and sci-fi in there from time to time. I like to mix it up, just a little bit. I don't write that way. I strictly write romance, but I read a lot of romance that has a lot of sci-fi and fantasy in it. And, I just, for some reason, I like going on these tangents of exploration, and I know that the stories aren't true. I know this, but the fact of the matter is, it's like I like to have my mind just dazzle, just for however long it takes me to finish reading the story. It's just good. It's good for the spirit to use your imagination, to help it to grow. We have enough on our plates as it is, from day to day, just being in reality. And I just think it's good to just let your mind be transformed, to go somewhere else just for a little while, just to take the load off. But anyway, I read all types of genres, and you can bet fantasy is on the top of the list. All right, I know not everyone appreciates make-believe on this level, but as I said, life can get majorly serious at times, and we all could use a respite or respite from reality every now and then. And that's just the truth of the matter. You know, what I've learned about fiction is that there is a healthy dose of reality blended in with each story. You know, just enough to pull you in and keep you listening as the tale deepens. I guess it's why I really admire a well played out ghost story too. You know, I heard a ton of those when I was a kid. My mother was an excellent storyteller of ghosts. And, you know, and I've written just, I think, one book that's dealing with that element. And it's not really ghost. Well, sort of, kind of. But anyway, I don't think that I can match her. I'm sort of out of my element, you know, when it comes to that type of story. But my mother had it down pat. She was so good at it. And I mean, she would tell us these stories, you know, it would be like, you know, maybe on a Sunday evening or a Saturday when it's like, you know, really, really dreary outside and we're sitting around, you know, and just listening to her tell these stories. And they were so effective in keeping you spellbound and making you so afraid that, you know, you couldn't even get up and go use the bathroom because you were afraid to go anywhere, you know, outside of the room by yourself, because she spun these tales so well. You know, it just, you could see it, you know, you could see every little detail just play out, you know, in the stories that she told us. And I'm so thankful for that. You know, my mother has gone on now, but her legacy of storytelling, you know, it still lives on. And so I'm so thankful and so appreciative of her for, you know, for exposing me to, you know, to storytelling. And, you know, I love it. You know, it's in me. You know, not only did she expose it to me, you know, verbally, but also physically, you know, because it's in my DNA. Storytelling is in my DNA. And I absolutely love it. I really do. I think I love telling stories more than I care about book sales. And that's just the plain truth of it. You know, I write the stories because I want to share them, you know, with everybody, because I want them to read it. I want them to be entertained, you know, for however long it takes them to finish the story. You know, that to me is more important than money, is telling a great story, something that can take you away from your troubles just for a little while, you know, that's totally relatable, you know, and just helps you to see life, you know, it's not as bad as you may think it is when you look at somebody else's. But anyway, you know, I think that that we need to get back to, you know, those days of storytelling, you know, sitting down with our children and not just reading to them at bedtime, which that's good, or any time of the day, but just, you know, to get back with them, like, you know, maybe going on a camp out. Now, what's a camp out without a roaring fire, s'mores, and a creepy story to balance it all out? You need all of those elements, you know, to make the trip enjoyable, to make that experience enjoyable. Because I think most people, they like being, you know, scared, you know, not in a horror type fashion, but just, you know, just scared, you know, to give you something to think about, you know, when you get ready to go to bed, make you turn that lamp on or turn the television on before you lay down, and maybe keep it on during the night. You know, if they told the story well enough, if it scared you enough, then of course you'll keep the light on or the television on throughout the night, so you don't see anything out of the ordinary. But anyway, you know, without those things, you know, life would just be so boring, let me tell you. And just to make it all possible, you know, you need a blend of fact peppered with the right amount of fiction. Now, people love fact checking. They really, really do. They'll be quick to call you out. But, you know, their day just isn't the same without calling you out if they think somehow you've misled them into believing you were preaching the gospel instead of pulling their leg. You know, it's a joke. Ha ha ha, it's a joke. You know, it's meant to be not serious. It's, you know, it's a tale. You know, if you look up the definition of tale, it'll tell you. TALE, it'll tell you what that definition is. You know, it's a little bit of humor. Just a little bit of humor goes a long way. You know, if you allow yourself to laugh out loud sometimes and enjoy the perfect balance of fact and fiction. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. I told you I was not going to keep you long, and I was serious about that. But before I let you go, I do need to give you out these URLs, because you are going out there and checking out my my webpage, you're checking out my social media, and I thank you so very much for that. And I thank all the ones who have actually not only checked it out, but they're now following me. So I thank you for that. I appreciate it so very much. But anyway, if you'll grab something to write with and something to write on, I'll give you out these URLs. That way you can continue to follow me, and you can give the information to your family and your friends so they can follow me as well. And please, 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 please go out to Amazon and order my newest book. It's the sequel to If Tomorrow Comes Requiem. This is If Tomorrow Comes Genesis. And I usually don't try to plug my books, when I'm talking on the show. But, I'm super excited about this book. Because it is the second volume to the first book, and I really want you to check it out because it's really a great story. So anyway, here we go. So the first one, of course, is to my Spreaker account, and that one is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. You can also check me out on Facebook. That is https://www.facebook.com/Vivian Moore author. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is God's Property 46, and you can also check out any information about today's show and all the previous shows on my Instagram page, and that is https://Instagram.com/God's Property 51. You can also check out my website, as I said before. It is https://VivianMoore.wixsite. That's WIXSITE.com/author Vivian Moore. And also today's blog, which the script for today's blog is on Blogger, and that is https://author Vivian E. Moore at blogsite.com. Also, you can check out today's episode on iTunes and also on iHeartRadio podcasts. All right, so guys, tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow is a very special day for our pastor. It is his 30th anniversary at our church, and we are just super excited about it, that we have had him for these past 30 years. Now, I have not been there the entire 30 years, but still, within my stay here at the church, I have been under his tutelage, and I can just tell you that I am so appreciative of our pastor for his dedication and loyalty to the flock. But anyway, we have this big day planned for him tomorrow, at big events, a lot of things. And if you're listening to the show today, you're more than welcome to come and celebrate with us, because it is an important time at our church. And also, I hope you're planning on going to church tomorrow. So if you are, take some family members, take some friends, take some neighbors, take some children with you out tomorrow to worship, and tell somebody that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance you get to say that. So I love you. I hope you love me back. And until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
If you enjoyed today's show, please head over to iTunes, give us a rating, and leave a review.
Thank you for listening.